Hello and welcome to my Pre-Algebra review series. This video covers Chapter 7, Section 3, entitled Solving Multi-Step Equations with Fractions and Decimals. By the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of solving multi-step equations with fractions and solving multi-step equations with decimals. Please leave a like if you find this video to be helpful. Give your classmates a heads up too. It will more than likely help them, and certainly it will help this channel to be seen by more students. If you would like me to cover any of these topics in greater detail, please leave a comment here in the comment section below. I read them and do my best to answer each as time permits. Please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon to be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you. Okay, Objective 1, solving multi-step equations with fractions. Remember, when the coefficient of a variable in an equation is a fraction, you can use the reciprocal to solve the equation. We've been doing that along on other slides, but now we're looking at like the fraction. But you can still do the same thing. You can invert it. So then the equation here, 4/5 x equals 12. Well, the reciprocal of 4/5 x is right here, is 5/4. It's the reciprocal of 4/5. So we're going to multiply by 5/4 on one side and 5/4 on the other side of the equal sign. So in other words, multiply each side by 5/4. And look at this, because 5/4 times 4/5 equals 1. It cancels out the coefficient. So doing that, we would find that x equals 15 if we solve this thing all the way through. So anyways, when you have a multi-step equation and the coefficient of the variable term is a fraction, gather the variables on one side and of the equation and the constants on the other side. Simplify both sides before multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, in example 1, we'll be using the reciprocal. See how this works out. It says solve the equation 2/3 n minus 6 equals 22. So it's 2/3, there's our fraction that we're going to be flipping. Okay, so 2/3 n minus 6 equals 22. 2/3 n minus 6 plus 6 equals, so we got the minus 6 plus a 6 equals 22 plus 6. We're going to clear up the addition and subtraction. We're going to undo that at this point. So the 6's cancel by adding a 6 to both sides. And on the right hand side, we're going to have 22 plus 6 is 28. Here's the 28. So we have 2/3 n equals 28. It's now simplified. So the last thing we can do now is get rid of this coefficient, this fractional coefficient of our variable term. And to do that, we're going to multiply by the inverse. So 3/2, 3/2, is the inverse of 2/3. You just flip it over. Okay? And I can also write this too. If the number was 3, the inverse is 1/3, because 3/1 is what we started with. We started with 3/1, and we ended up with 1/3. So just keep that in mind when all the numbers work this way. If you started off with 1/4 is the number you're starting with, when you ended up, it would be 4/1, the inverse. So 3/2 times 2/3 is equal to 3/2, 28. Well, in this case, these cancel out and it becomes n, 1n. And if we take 28 and divide by 2, we're going to get 14, and 14 times 3 is 42. So n equals 42. If we want to do a check on it, 2/3, we're going to replace n in the equation right up here, the n in the equation right up here. We're going to replace that with the 42. So 2/3 n, 2/3 42 minus 6 equals 22. So when we take care of this multiplication division, we get 28 minus 6 equals 22. Okay, And if you take 28 and you subtract 6, you get 22. So the answer 22 equals 22 is correct. It worked. Okay, in example 1, we're going to start by doing some here, checking our understanding. So problem A on this slide says negative 7/10 k plus 14. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that 14 right now. Minus 14 is equal to minus 21 minus 14. So minus 7/10 k plus and minus 14 is 0 equals minus 21 minus 14 is minus 35. Now we're going to take the reciprocal of this k coefficient, and we're going to get rid of the negative sign at the same time. So we're going to multiply by negative 10/7 times negative 7/10, because this is what we had to begin with, times k is equal to negative 35 times negative 10 over 7. So doing so, the negatives here cancel each other. Negative times a negative is a positive. That's these two right here, these negatives. And the 10 and the 7 cancel, cross cancel here, so that equals 1. So k is equal to negative 35 divided by 7 times 10. And it's a negative 35 times a negative 10/7, so that makes a positive 50. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 5 times 10 is 50. And the negatives became positive. There's the answer to that one. Now let's do this one. 2/3 m, because we're going to multiply the 2/3 m and the 2/3 times minus 6. Minus 2/3 times minus 6. I can just write that out. I can say 2/3 times 6 equals 3. So I just carried it out just like this. So this stays, and there's a problem here. So that is, what we're going to find out is 6 times 2 is 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we're going to rewrite this as 2/3 m minus 4 equals 3. So we're going to get rid of the minus 4 now. So 2/3 m minus 4 plus 4 equals 3 plus 4. Okay, sorry, I can't write very well. Plus 4. I'm going to erase that. Give me a second, people. Where's my eraser at? Okay, look at that. Magic. Okay, so 3 plus 4. Sorry for the delay on that. So these 4s will cancel. So we're going to have 2/3 m equals 7, because 3 plus 4 is 7. And if we work this out, we're going to have what? We're going to have we're going to multiply 3 halves by the 2/3 here. So we're going to say 3 halves times 2/3 m is equal to 7 times 3 halves. So these cancel, and we're left with the m is equal to 7. 7 times 3 is 21 divided by 2. And that equals 10 1/2. So m is equal to 10 1/2. Okay? So in example 2 here, we're going to use the lowest common multiple. We're going to give it a different, look at it in a different approach. So the problem we're going to look at is 2/5 x plus 2 equals 3/4. So we've got it rewritten here. So now we're going to work on this equation. So we're going to have 2/5 x plus 2 minus 2. We're going to add the negative 2 here. is equal to 3/4 minus 2. So we subtracted 2 from both sides. Okay, so that's going to take care of the addition and subtraction part of this problem at this moment. So we're left with 2/3 x is equal to minus 5/4. Because how did we get minus 5/4? Well, the minus 2 in the fourths is 8/4. So minus 8/4 plus 3/4 is minus 5/4. Okay, so now we have two fractions. We have fractions on each side. So we have 2/5 x on one side and minus 5/4 on the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the least common multiple of the 5 and the 4. And we see here from the explanation here is that it's 20. 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to take and multiply both sides by the 20, the least common multiple. So 20 times 2/5 x is equal to minus 5/4 x times 20. And if you carry out the simplification, the 20 times 2 is 40, divided by 5 is 8. So it's 8x on this side. And on this side, it's negative. 5 times 20 is 100, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. So 8x is equal to minus 25. Now we have to get rid of the 8. You have to get rid of the coefficient of the variable term to make it 1. So if we multiply by the reciprocal of 8, we're multiplying by 1 over 8. Or in this case, it's being drawn as 8 divided by 8. So that's going to cancel, make x a 1. And the other side is minus 25 divided by 8. And minus 25 divided by 8 is minus 3 1/8. Because 8 times 3 is 24, and there's 1/8 left over. Okay, here it is. Example 2, check our understanding. So we're going to solve each equation using the least common multiples. So let's see if we can make this work. So we have minus 12. First of all, what we're going to do is we have to get the variable on one side and the numbers on the other, the constants. And it looks like we're ready to do that moving. So we have positive y minus 7/12 plus 7/12 is equal to 1/6 plus 7/12. Okay, so now we have the y by itself here because these are going to cancel each other out, the plus and the minus. So we have, at this point, we have the y is equal to 1/6 plus 7/12. Well, the least common multiple is 12. Okay, as we go up the run, we're going to find out the 12 is by itself. The first 6 is 2 6s, make a 12. So we're going to multiply both sides by 12 at this point. So we're going to have, to get the numerator. So we multiply this side by 12 over here, we're going to get a 2. It'd be 2 12s. So it's going to be 2 12s plus 7 12s, because we don't have to do any multiplying to change this one. It's already in 12s. So that equals y is equal to 9 12s or 3/4. So y is equal to 3/4. And now this one over here, let's try b. 1/3 b minus 1, let's move it right now, plus 1 is equal to 5/6 plus 1. And so these cancel out. So we're going to have 1/3 b is equal to 5/6 plus 1. So 1 is 6/6. So it's 11/6. And in order to get rid of the 1/3 on this side, we have to multiply by the inverse. And multiplying by the inverse is 3 over 1 times 1 over 3 b. This is the inverse of 1/3 is 3. Often we don't see the over 1 because you don't have to, but this helps you see that it is truly there, equals 11/6 times 3. I could say, or 3 over 1 if I want. So these cross cancel, and you'll get B is equal to 33/6 or 11 halves, however we want to look at this, I guess. So we're going to say 33. Let's see, 33. Let's try that. 33/6. And 33/6, if we divide 6 into 33, it goes 5 times, is 5 3/6, or 1/2. 5 1/2. So B is equal to 5 1/2. So for objective 2, solving multi-step equations with decimals, we're going to find out that you can solve an equation with a decimal. You can have the properties of equality to solve these equations. So let's move on to the next slide and we'll find out how. So as on the others, example 3, a real world problem, we're going to telling us we've got some type of a story to deal with here. So suppose your cell phone plan is $20 per month plus 15 cents per minute. Your bill is $37.25. Use the equations $20 plus $0.15 times x is equal to $37.25 to find out the number of minutes on your phone bill. So let's take a look at it. So writing the equation, or rewriting this equation here, down here, so that's just rewritten so we can look at it more closely. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to, undoing our addition and subtraction, we're going to get rid of this $20 and move it to the other side. So to do that, we're going to take the $20 from here, this $20, and we're going to subtract $20 from it. So 20 minus 20 plus $0.15 times x times the number of minutes, because that's what it says, 15 cents per minute, is equal to $37.25 minus $20, minus the $20 from this side over here. So when we balance that out, we're going to get $0.15 times the number of minutes, 15 cents times the number of minutes, is equal to $17.25, because we had $37.25 and we subtracted 20 from it. So then once we do that, we're going to end up with trying to, and we've resolved that down to the simplification. We're going to now get rid of the coefficient of the x variable, and it's 15 cents or dollars, $0.15. So the inverse of that is 1 over $0.15. So we're going to divide each side by $0.15. Okay, and when we do that, we're going to find out that the 15s cancel, and we get x. Right here's the x. And if you take $17.25 and divide it by 0.15 or 15 cents, you'll get 115. And in this case, it would be 100, and x is equal to 115. Oops, didn't write that right. 115 minutes. 115 minutes. There are a total of 115 minutes on the bill. Okay? Okay, let's do a couple more problems to check our understanding. We can see we have a clear understanding of how to do these. So it starts off 1.5 x minus 3.6. And I'm going to just go ahead and move it right now to the other side. So I'm going to clear this up by adding in a positive 3.6 plus 3.6 is equal to 2.4 plus 3.6. So when we clear this up and simplify it, these 3.6's will disappear. We'll have 1.5 times x is equal to 2.4 plus 3.6 is equal to 6. So now to find out what x is equal to, we have to get rid of the coefficient. So we're going to go ahead and say 1 over 1.5 times 1.5 x is equal to 6 times 1 over 1.5. And when we do that, these cancel, leaving us with a 1. So x is equal to 6 divided by 1.5 is equal to 4. The answer is x equals 4. And this one here, we have 1.06 p minus 3. So we can get rid of the 3 right from the very beginning. Get rid of a minus 3 by adding in a positive 3. And I'm doing this because these all are the same. We know what we're doing. And that's equal to 3 plus 0.71. And when I do this, it's going to 1.06p. To simplify, these 3 disappear. And you add these 2 together, and it's just 3.71. So if we take and divide both sides by 1.06, or multiply by 1 over 1.06, the reciprocal, we're multiplying by the reciprocal, 1.06 p is equal to 3.71 times 1 over 1.06. These cancel. You're left with just a 1. So p is equal to 3.71 divided by 1.06. P is equal to 3.5. I think that 3.5. I need to go back and fix that. 3.5. Three and 0.5. So P is equal to 3.5. Okay, so we're at our last couple slides here. We're going to just have some practice problems. We're going to start with A, which says that 1/4 C, 1/4 C plus 2. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take care of the undoing the arithmetic right now, so it'll save some steps. So minus 2, because we're going to move the 2 to the other side, is equal to 3/4 minus 2. So now the 2's will disappear, so we have 1/4 C plus 0 is equal to 3/4 minus 8/4. So that's going to be 8/4 and will equal minus 5/4. So now we're at this point, we're going to get rid of the coefficient of the variable term by multiplying by its inverse, multiplicative inverse. So 4 times 1/4 C is equal to minus 5/4 times 4. Okay, so given that, the 4's cancel. On each side, the 4's cancel, and it leaves us with a 1 in each place over here. So we have it ends up with a C is equal to minus 5. So now let's look at B. And as before, I'm going to get rid of the 8 right in the very first certain line here. So 8 minus W over 10 is equal to 3/5 minus 8. Okay, the 8's disappear. Minus W over 10 equals 3/5 minus how many fifths? 40/5 minus 40/5. And 40/5, that equals minus 37/5. Okay? So now we have to get rid of the 1/10 on this side, the negative 1/10. So in order to do that, we multiply by the reciprocal, the multiplicative inverse. But we're going to use the negative sign with it. So minus 10 times minus W over 10 is equal to minus 37 over 5 times minus 10 times minus 10 over 1. So these 10's will cancel, the negative signs cancel. So now we have W equals, the negative signs cancel, equals 370 divided by 5. And therefore W is equal to, what is that, 74? I think 74. 74. Okay, we're on our last slide, and we're going to start right here with letter C, problem C. And I'm also going to get rid of the distributive property right off the bat. So I'm going to take 3/4 times B, which is 3/4 B, plus 3/4 times 8, 3/4 times 8, okay, and that equals 15. So now we're going to take 3/4 B, 3/4 B, plus 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 6 equals 15. So 3/4 B plus 6 minus 6, because now we're going to undo the arithmetic, the adding and subtracting. 15 minus 6. 3/4 B plus 6 minus 6 is 0 equals 9. 15 minus 6 is 9. So now to get rid of the 3/4 with the B, we have to multiply by its multiplicative inverse, or the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3 times 3/4 B is equal to 9 times 4/3. 4/3. So these all cancel. So the B is equal to 9 divided by 3 times 4, which is 12. B is equal to 12. Let's do the last one, D. So we're going to get rid of the 9.2 right in the very first remove by undoing arithmetic. So 0.4B plus 9.2 minus 9.2 is equal to 10 minus 9.2. So these 9.2s cancel each other out, so we get 0.4B is equal to 10 minus 9.2 is 0.8. Okay, so now we're going to get rid of the 0.4 associated with the B by multiplying by its inverse. And the inverse of 0.4 is 1 over 0.4 times 0.4B is equal to 0.8 times 1 over 0.4. Well, these 0.4s cancel with these 0.4s, and we're left with B. And the 0.8 is canceled by the 0.4. By 8 divided by 4 is 0.2. There's our answer.